whispering woods, where the leaves whispered secrets like old friends, and the stars twinkled like scattered diamonds across a velvet cloth, lived a little fox cub named Pip. Pip was a curious cub with a fluffy, bouncy tail that wagged with every new discovery, and bright, wondering eyes that saw magic in every dewdrop. He loved his cozy den, nestled snug beneath an ancient oak, filled with the scent of pine and warm earth. But sometimes, when the night grew dark and the wind began to howl its mighty song through the branches, Pip felt a tiny shiver of worry tickle his nose, all the way down to his little paws. Tonight, the wind was indeed howling, not a gentle whisper, but a big, boomy sound that rattled the very branches outside his little window. Pip pulled his softest blanket tighter, snuggling deep, deep down. He wished with all his heart that the wind would just stop. He closed his eyes, imagining the quiet calm he so longed for. But the wind kept swirling, making the shadows dance in a way that made his tummy feel a bit fluttery. Suddenly, a soft, comforting hoot echoed from the shadowy corner of the den, a sound as gentle as a sigh. It was Mama Owl, her wise, knowing eyes gleaming like polished amber in the dim, sleepy light. She glided silently from her perch and landed beside Pip's bed, her soft feathers brushing against his blanket. "What troubles your sleep tonight, little Pip?" she asked gently, her voice a soothing murmur. Pip sniffled, his nose twitching. "The wind, Mama. It's so loud, and it sounds like a grumpy giant stomping around. I wish it would just go away. It feels big and scary, like it could blow our whole den over." Mama Owl ruffled her beautiful, patterned feathers, a soft, comforting sound. "Ah, the wind," she murmured, her gaze drifting towards the small window where the unseen gusts continued their dance. "It is indeed a powerful thing, little one. It sweeps through the trees, carrying leaves on adventures and making the clouds scurry across the sky. But tell me, Pip, can you, with all your might, make the wind stop blowing?" Pip thought hard, his brow furrowed in concentration. He imagined trying to push the wind away with his paws, or shouting at it to be quiet. He then shook his head slowly. "No, Mama, I can't. It's too big." "That's absolutely right," Mama Owl said, nodding her head with understanding. "Some things in the wide, wide world, like the wind that blows or the sun that shines, are beyond our control. We can't stop them, and we can't make them start, no matter matter how much we wish we could, or how much we stomp our little feet. They simply are. But, she continued, her voice becoming soft as a lullaby, we can always choose how we feel about them. Can you choose to be warm and cozy in your den, snuggled under your blanket, even if the wind is roaring its wild song outside? Pip looked around his snug, safe home, at his soft, familiar blanket, and felt the comforting warmth of his bed. He could feel his own little paws, tucked safe and sound beneath his chin. Yes, he whispered, a tiny bit of the worry drifting away. I can choose to be cozy here. Mama Owl's eyes sparkle, and you can choose to think brave, calming thoughts instead of scary ones. You can imagine the wind is just singing a lullaby, a little bit loudly, or imagine it's dancing with the trees. The wind is just doing what wind does, and you are safe and warm. What you choose to think about it is all your own power. The very next morning, the wind was gone, replaced by a gentle, dewy quiet. But a new trouble appeared, a small worry that made Pip's fluffy tail droop a little. His most special treasure, a perfectly smooth, shiny brown acorn, the one he always kept right by his bed and whispered his secrets to, was gone. Pip blinked his eyes sleepily, then wide awake. He searched under his blanket, tumbling his pillows about. He peeked behind his tiny carved wooden chair, then even bravely stuck his nose into his favorite cookie jar, just in case. Oh no, he cried, a little tear welling up in the corner of his eye, making the room seem blurry. My acorn, my special acorn, it's lost. A big, comforting shadow fell across the den entrance. It was Papa Bear, a big, kind bear with a rumbling laugh like distant thunder, and a heart as warm as sunshine. He peeked his head in, his eyes twinkling. "What's all the fuss, little one?" he asked, his voice a soft rumble. When Pip explained, sniffling about his missing treasure, Papa Bear nodded slowly, his big head swaying. It's perfectly natural to feel sad when something you love is gone, Pip, Papa Bear said, settling down near Pip's bed. Sometimes things just disappear, or get lost, or even break. We can't always control if our toys wander off, or if a favorite leaf gets carried away by a stream. Can we? Pip shook his head, still feeling a knot of sadness in his chest. No, he mumbled, his voice small. That's true, Papa Bear agreed. But we can always control what we do next, Pip. We can choose to keep crying and feeling feel sad all day long, even though it won't bring the acorn back. Or we can choose to be brave and calm and think about what we can do. We can gently look for it one more time, or we can decide that even if we don't find it, we can still have a good day. We can remember the happy times we had with that acorn and appreciate those good memories. Even if it's lost forever, the happiness it gave you is still inside you, isn't it? Pip sniffled, then wiped his eyes with a paw. He thought about all the games he played with the acorn, all the secrets he whispered to it. The happy memories were indeed still there. So, I can choose to look calmly or just feel okay. Exactly, Papa Bear said, giving Pip a gentle pat that made his fur tingle. And if we don't find it, we can choose to be okay with that too. We can always find new joys, or even find a new favorite thing, because joy comes from inside you, not just from what you have. Later that week, a bright, sunny afternoon invited Pip and his friends out for a grand berry-picking adventure in the sun-dappled meadow. Pip, with his quick paws and sharp eyes, found the biggest, juiciest, reddest berries he'd ever seen. They shimmered like tiny jewels in his little basket. He quickly filled it to the brim, clutching it tight, feeling very proud of his treasure. Just then, a new little squirrel named Squeaky, who was much smaller than Pip and a bit shy, scurried by. Squeaky looked sadly at his own tiny, nearly empty basket, his whiskers drooping. Pip felt a tiny tug in his heart, a gentle nudge of a feeling. His first thought was, "These are my berries. I worked so hard to find them." But then he remembered Papa Bear's words about choices and Mama Owl's words about what he could control. He couldn't control if Squeaky had found few berries, but he could control his own actions. He could choose to keep all his berries, or he could choose to be kind. Wise old Turtle, who had been basking slowly and peacefully on a nearby sun-warmed log, slowly blinked his ancient eyes. His voice, when he spoke, was a low, comforting rumble, like pebbles tumbling gently in a stream. "The finest treasures, little Pip," he rumbled, "are not always the ones we keep only for ourselves. Sometimes the most precious things are the ones we share. True happiness, a deep and lasting joy, comes from being good, from being fair, and from being brave enough to share what you have, especially with someone who has less. When you act kindly, when you share your joy and your plenty, you build a strong and happy heart inside yourself. kind of treasure, a heart full of goodness. No one can ever take away from you. It stays with you always, making you feel warm and peaceful. Pip looked at his big, overflowing pile of shiny berries, then at Squeaky's sad, hopeful face, and felt that warm tug grow stronger in his chest. He took a deep, calming breath, just like Mama Owl had taught him. "Here, Squeaky," he said, pushing half of his beautiful, plump berries towards the little squirrel's empty basket. Squeaky's eyes lit up like tiny lanterns, and he chittered happily, a joyful dance in his tail. A warm, happy feeling, much bigger and sweeter than any berry, spread through Pip's chest, making his own heart feel full and light. He realized wise old Turtle was right. Sharing felt even better than finding the berries. The very next day, Pip woke up, stretched, and opened his eyes to the soft, rhythmic sound of raindrops pattering on the roof of his den. "Oh no," he groaned, rolling over in his bed with a sigh. "It's raining. Now I can't play outside. I wanted to chase butterflies and roll in the grass." He felt a wave of big, gray disappointment wash over him, making his sunny morning turn cloudy inside. Mama Owl, who was gently stirring some warm berry tea, her feathers rustling softly, chuckled. "It seems the sun has decided to rest today, little one," she said, her voice like a gentle breeze. "We can't change the rain, can we? It will fall as it chooses, but we can always change how we see it and what we choose to do with it. Is a rainy day only for sadness and grumbling?" Pip thought about it, pouting a little. Usually, he just grumbled and wished the rain away. "Well, yes," he said uncertainly, tugging at his ear. Or Mama Owl suggested, her eyes twinkling with an idea. "It can be a day for splashing in puddles with your best rain boots on, sending tiny splashes into the air like happy dances. Or it can be a day for drawing silly pictures by the warm, crackling fire, creating whole new worlds on paper. Or perhaps it can be a day for building a magnificent fort right here inside the den. A secret kingdom made of blankets and pillows where no rain can reach. Or even a day for simply listening to the rain's gentle rhythm, a soothing drumbeat that helps you think and dream. The day itself is just a day. It's our thoughts about it, the way we choose to look at it, that make it dull and gloomy, or exciting and full of possibilities. We choose our perspective, little Pip. Pip's ears perked up, and his tail gave a tiny wag. splashing in puddles, building a fort, a secret kingdom. Suddenly, the rainy day didn't seem so bad at all. He imagined leaping into a big, deep puddle, sending water flying high like sparkling jewels. He imagined stacking pillows and draping blankets, creating a cozy hideaway where he could tell stories and dream. He realized with a happy little sigh that the rain wasn't stopping his fun at all. Only his own first grumpy thoughts about the rain had been holding him back. He could choose to see the fun in any situation, no matter the weather outside. Pip the fox cub, with his curious heart and adventurous spirit, learned that night, and in the bright, busy days that followed, that while he couldn't control everything that happened around him, the wild winds that howled, the special acorn that wandered off, or even the clouds that brought the rain, he could always control his own thoughts, his gentle choices, and his kind actions. He discovered that by being kind, by being brave, by accepting what he couldn't change, and by choosing to see the good in every situation, it brought him a deep, peaceful feeling inside his heart, a feeling that stayed with him, warm and constant, even when the world outside was noisy or gloomy or unexpected. And so, as the moon rises high, a big friendly smile in the night sky, and the stars begin to sparkle like fairy dust scattered from a giant hand, remember little Pip's gentle lessons. When things feel big or a little bit scary, remember what you can control: your own calm breath, your kind heart, and your brave, happy thoughts. When something is lost or doesn't go quite as you planned, you can choose to be okay, to find a new way to smile. And when the world doesn't go exactly your way, you can always find a new way to be happy and find joy right where you are. Close your eyes now, little one. Snuggle deep into your bed and know that your inner peace is always with you. A warm, soft light within your own gentle heart, always ready to shine. Sweet dreams, little one.